So general principle and process of isolation of elements. We know this thing that the elements we obtain from the nature are in the form of ore. And what is ore? Can anyone tell me? Lavanya, what is ore?
Because of not stable states, the metals react with the atmospheric gases or the materials, so form compounds. That compound is known as ore.
Okay. Can anyone tell Riddhi what is ore? Not Riddhi. Akshita, what is ore? Yes, Saksham.
Ma'am, the mineral from which the metal is extracted is called as ore.
Yes. In nature, the elements or metals, non-metals, everything present in a combined state. Okay. And the matter, the state in which the solid elements or you can say metals found in nature is ore. Okay. So let's just start with the overview of the chapter. A few elements like carbon, sulfur, gold, and noble gases occurs in free state, while other in combined form in the earth crust. Why the carbon, sulfur, gold, noble gases occur in free state? Because they do not react with the other elements for stability. Just Lavanya said. Elements combine together to attain a stable state. But what about those elements which are already in a stable state? The elements or the compounds or you can say the metals or non-metals which are already in stable state, they do not react generally with the other things for stability. So that is why these things occur in free state. Okay. The extraction and isolation of elements from its combined form involves various principles of the chemistry. So there are different types of principles which are involved in the extraction and isolation. Isolation is like separation. We are familiar with this word isolation nowadays. With those person who are suffering from the COVID-19, doctors used to put them in isolation, means separation, separated from others. Okay, so to extract out and for the isolation of elements, there are various principles which are involved in the chemistry. So a particular element may occur in a variety of compounds. The process of metallurgy and isolation should be such that it is chemically feasible and commercially viable. Still, some general principles are common to all the extraction process of metals. Some, when we do different types of principles for the extraction of metals, so some are actually specific, that this method is specific to this type of elements only, which have these types of characteristics, some specific types of characteristics, but some are common, just like hand picking method. Hand picking method we can apply anywhere in any type of separation. We have to pick the substance from the mixture and you will be able to separate out. So there are some specific principles or general principles you can say which can be applicable to any types of extraction process. Okay. So for obtaining a particular matter, first, we look for minerals which are naturally occurring chemical substances in the earth crust obtainable by mining. So, first method is mining. We extract out minerals from the mines, and thus this process is known as the mining process. All right, because our mine is like digging something out from the mountains, deep core of the mountains or deep from the earth crust. So that is mining. Out of many minerals in which a metals may be found, for a few are variable to be used as source of the metal. Such minerals are known as ores. So first thing which we mined from the earth crust is ore, and that substance is the mixture of different types of elements. So that is why this is known as, you can say, minerals. So these types of minerals which are extracted by mining are known as ores. Occurrence of metals. How metals occurs. Elements vary in abundance. It's like each and every element has a different percentage of presence in the earth crust. For example, if I say that this soil is rich in nitrogen, so it means that particular soil have nitrogen in abundance. So the percentage or the occurrence of the elements is actually variable. Among metals, aluminium is most abundant. If you talk about the metals, aluminium is the most abundant metal which is found in the earth. It is the third most abundant element in the earth crust, 8.3% approximately by weight. If you talk about its by weight, that this is the third most abundant element on earth crust only. Okay, it is a major component of many igneous minerals, including mica and clay. So there are different types of components which includes like mica and clay. Many gemstones are impure form of Al2O3, aluminium oxide, and the impurities range from copper in ruby to copper in sapphire. So what is this? There are different types of range of aluminium. We can't say that aluminium is just a normal metal which is used to make aircraft, your ships, because since it is a light metal, generally do not react because its outer cover, its outermost layer of the metal react with the gases and form a protective layer which protect the inner metal from corrosion. So that is why we used to use it, but it's not specific to metal only. Its extract are found in the gemstones only. Okay, gemstones which we used to wear in the, in rings, people used to wear. All right. So iron is the second most abundant metal on the earth crust. It forms a variety of compounds and their various uses make it a very important element. So iron is the second most abundant. Listen, you can say this thing that iron is simple same, not specific to the solid metal. It ranges to each and every even living components also. We have iron in our body in hemoglobin. Heme means iron. Globin is the protein. So our blood is formed because of the presence of iron. All right. So there are different varieties. You can say a range in which this iron is found in the earth. Okay. Not even on in the case of matters in the living world also, whether it's the flora and whether it is fauna. Flora is the plant kingdom, plant world, and fauna is the animal kingdom, animal world, ranging from a small microorganism to the multicellulars. Okay, it is one of the essential elements in biological system as well. So it has mentioned already that this is the most essential important element in the biological system. So sometimes when people has some hemoglobin issues, that your hemoglobin is less than the proper range, so they ask you to eat spinach and other substances, green leafy vegetables, because they contains iron, so that you can just balance your iron in the body. They ask you to eat iron tablets. Why? Because it affects the blood, and blood is the main fluid which just transport oxygen and the glucose and other things in our body. Okay, because organs cannot go anywhere and just they pick the things or energy for to survive. Blood is the main component, you can say, the vehicle which transport each and everything to each and every cell. So, principal ores of some important metals. So, let's just talk about that which metal is extracted from the which type of ore. So, let us talk about aluminium first. So, the aluminium ore is bauxite and its composition is AlOxOH 3.2x. Next is iron. Next is kelonite, a form of clay. We have just read this thing that clay in aluminium. Aluminium is extracted from the clay also. Next is talk about the iron. Iron is hematite. Hematite is Fe2O3. Next is magnetite, Fe3O4. Next is siderite, FeCO3, and iron pyrite, FeS2. Remember this thing, you have to learn each and every ore of the specific element or metal. Why? Because they can ask you in one question that this siderite, which metal is extracted from the siderite. So you must be familiar with the ore and elements also, that from which element, from which ore, which element can be extracted. Okay. Next, let's just move to the copper. Copper pyrites CuFeS2. Malachite CO3 CuOH whole twice. Copper galens. Copper galens is Cu2S. So they just give you that type of name which is not related actually to the element's name. So they can ask you that malachite, which metal is extracted from malachite. So at that time you have to mention that copper is the element or metal, you can say. Zinc is from zinc blend, calamine and zincite. So you have to learn each and every ore, that which element can be extracted from which ore. Okay. What is the ore of mercury? You can say alloy form of mercury. From where?
Amalgam.
Yes, mercury is extracted from the amalgam. So this is how you have to learn. Okay. Next, concentration of ore. Removal of unwanted materials, sand, clays, etc. from the ore is known as concentration, dressing, or benefaction of the ore. First and foremost thing, when you extract out something from the earth crust, so there may be mud, sand, clays and so other thing which you find stick to the ore. So the first thing is to concentrate it. Concentrate means to increase the concentration of ore with respect to the other things. So first is the washing method. You just pick the things and wash it. So it will remove the sand, clay, and sometimes we used to boil, sometimes we used to use high pressure water, sometimes we used to use high pressure air to just concentrate your ore. So first method is, when you get something from the earth crust, is to concentrate the ore. Next is, it involves several steps and selection of these steps depend upon the differences in physical properties of the compounds of the metal present and that of the kangaroo. Listen, what happened? We can't just take anything and just put into the water to remove the clay and sand. The first method actually depend on the type of ore, that which type of ore you are having, which you have to separate, or you can say concentrate. Okay, sometimes some things just mix with the water, and if you apply, or if you just put your ore into the water, it just mix with the water, and what happened, the concentration balance will just imbalance at that time. So you have to select first that which method you have to apply to concentrate or to enrich your ore. Okay, and it depends on its physical properties, because right now we are talking about the physical things now. So the type of matters that are available, facilities and environment factors are also take into consideration. So there are so many things also, that which type of metal is this, which type of metal can be found from that ore, and some environmental factors also there, air pressure, sorry, atmospheric pressure, temperature, so many things are there which we have to control for this process to enriching your ore. Let us talk about the first process, which is magnetic separation. This is based on difference in magnetic properties of the ore component. Magnetic separation is like they use magnet to separate out the elements from the ore, and this can be done only with those type of elements which shows attraction towards, or you can say repulsion towards the magnet. Okay. So if either the ore of Kengu, one of these two is capable of being attracted by the magnetic field, then such separation are carried out in case of iron ore. So this can be only done in case of iron ore. What happened? They just crush the metal. See, this is the finely ground ore. What happened? We just extract out the ore from the earth crust. We finally just crush it, make a thin, fine powder, you can say, make a fine powder out of it after concentration. You just extract out or mine out that ore, separate the clay, sand, whatever mud, each and everything which stick to that ore. After it, crush that ore and make a fine powder. And from this funnel, they just what have these are the magnetic rollers on which this rubber paddle is there. So what happened through this funnel, the this ore just drop down, and when this magnetic roller start rotating, so what happened when it reaches to the corner, the things which are attracted towards the magnet, they just move towards the magnetic roles, and other things will move away. Why? Because they are not attracted by the magnet. So that is how you can separate easily the iron ore which have magnetic property and shows attraction towards the magnet. So this is the magnetic separation when we use magnet to separate out the different components of ore. All right, and your non-magnetic particles will be separate out. And it can contain so many things. It can contain metal, it can contain the dust particles, that non-magnetic part. Okay, next, the ground ore is carried on conveyor belt which passes over the magnetic roller. Just now I have explained to you, this is the conveyor belt, this is rubber belt, type of rubber belt. Okay, sulfonized belt, or you can say sulfonized rubber. And magnetic rollers are there when they move, so that we can separate the magnetic part, means the iron part, and the non-magnetic particles. And non-magnetic particles can be anything. They can be the sand, mud, impurities, and other elements also which don't have magnetic properties. All right. Next is froth flotation method. This method has been in use for removing gangue from the sulfide ores. In this process, a suspension of the powdered ore is made with the water. What happened? They just make a colloidal solution, suspended solution. They mix the sulfide ore in the water and make a suspension solution in which the solid, this sulfide ore remains suspended in the water only, medium only. Okay. So to do it, it collects, and for froth stabilizers are added. After that, they just collect, they just take that thing, the mixture of your sulfide ore, into a chamber, and where collector and froth stabilizers are added. What happened at that time? The collector, that the collector can be the pine oil, the fatty acid, and the xanthides. They can be like oil like things which just have different properties from the water, hydrophobic things. Okay, enhance non-wettability of the mineral particles, and froth stabilizers like creosotes and aniline that stabilize the froth. They just stabilize the froth. Froth is like झाग, है ना? Froth is like कि भाई जब हम किसी चीज को mix करते हैं, they just make like bubble like things, or like झाग, dense like things, तो उसको हम froth बोलते हैं. The mineral particles become wet by oil, while the gangue particles by water. So minerals, because since it make a suspension there, so mineral particles are separate from the water, and the collector is used to wet the mineral particles, means oil is added to wet the mineral particles, and the water wets the gangue particles. Okay, a rotating paddle aggregates the mixtures and draws air in it. As a result, froth is formed, which carries the mineral particles. The froth is light and is skimmed off. It is then dried from recovery of the ore particles. As you can see, this is the diagram. What happened? They just mix the sulfide ore into this water, add collector and suspension, After when you start just moving this, rotating this paddle, what happened? They just generate the froth. This is the mineral froth. ओके, झाग बन जाएंगे वहां पर और वाटर विल सेपरेट आउट फ्रॉम द मिनरल. सो व्हाट हैपन, आपका जो फ्रोथ होगा दैट विल बी मिक्स विद द ऑयल पार्ट बिकॉज इट इज वेटेड बाय इट. एंड योर other things, the hydrophilic part will be remain suspended into the water. So that is how you will be able to separate out the impurities, because sulfide or froth is at that time will be like a hydrophobic thing which is lighter in weight. It's just skimmed off the water surface, आपकी surface के ऊपर skimmed off हो जाएगा. And the things that hydrophilic part will remain suspended into the water, and that is how we will be able to separate out. So it will be like, you can, if you see the diagram here, this is the enlarged air bubble, okay, which contains the mineral particles. So froth is like झाग जिनके अंदर air बनता है. जब हम बनाते हैं ना, when we mix soap into the water, so what, when you start shaking it or moving it, what happen? Or you can say centrifugate it, then froth form, which contains air bubbles, and on the surface of these air bubbles the mineral particles will attached. That is how we will be able to separate out the sulfide ores from the, with the help of water, by using this fourth flotation method. All right.